welcome to another edition of Origin Records Online Radio. My name is Matt Jorgensen. We're broadcasting live on tape from Seattle, Washington, headquarters of Origin Records. This episode, our good friend Chad McCullough, trumpeter and employee number 3 at Origin Records back in the day, is in town, having recently relocated to Chicago, Illinois. And we're going to talk to him about a couple of his new projects coming up and a couple of gigs in town. But before we do, this is a track entitled Imaginary Folk Song from the group Chad McCullough and Bram Viters Quartet from their album by the title Imaginary Sketches. So, joining us now, trumpeter Chad McCullough in Seattle, by way of Chicago. How you doing, Chad?
Pretty good. Thanks, Matt. How are you?
Good. You know, I in the introduction, I introduced you as employee number 3 at Origin Records because
Yeah.
I, of
But
course,
really,
even though John Bishop started Origin Records, I took employee number 1.
yeah, and then I took employee number one when I started.
We all get a chance to be employee number 1 every now and
Yeah,
then. You get the
assistant
assistant
to
to
the
the
vice.
assistant.
Yeah.
And you get the Origin parking spot, right in front of the offices.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the company yacht for the weekend.
right, very glamorous life here at Origin Records. But I think a lot of people know that they of course know you from your records on Origin, but I think some people do, some people don't know that you recently relocated from Seattle to Chicago. When was that exactly?
It was kind of in May, actually, of
Yeah,
this year.
a lot of back and forth because next to Seattle, Chicago is the stronghold of Origin Records artists.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and now you're back. You're back in Seattle for how long? Are you here? I mean, I know you've been on tour and now are kind of here getting ready for the Earshot Festival. So what do you have coming
Yeah,
up?
I'm here for 2 more days, and then I think we go down to Portland for a week and record the new Kora band record. And then I'm back in Seattle for a day to play the Earshot Festival, then fly out the next morning and head to Russia, where I'm there for about a week and a half.
That's right. Well, so okay, so you're gonna be November. Is it November 4th? Core band at the Earshot Jazz Festival.
The 3rd, November
Third,
3rd.
and
Yeah.
that's at Cornish
Yes.
College of the Arts Poncho Concert Hall. We want to remind
Uh-huh.
everyone that you go to originarts.com and you can see Chad's artist page with all his gigs coming up. So people in Seattle will be able to see you, and then our large contingent in the former Soviet Union will be able to see you. When is that?
We play on the 5th, the 7th, and the 8th of November. And that's with the band with Bram Waiters, the Belgian pianist.
Yeah, we heard a track from that. We'll hear some more coming up. But yeah, John and I were at the Jazz Ahead conference in Bremen, Germany, and we ran into your promoter for said gig in Russia. Very excited to have you guys.
Cool.
And I think so. And then you'll be over in Europe again with Brahm. When's the next round of dates?
Yeah, I think the next tour is shaping up at the end of April and the beginning of May, like that couple weeks there. So,
2014.
yeah.
Yeah, and tell people, and I think that's the great thing too is just those records with Brahm are also as kind of co-releases for Origin Records on
Yeah, they're
Dwarf.
co-released with a very, very cool, supportive Belgian record label called Dwarf Records, which is based in Bruges, and they get funding from the Flemish government to promote Flemish jazz artists. And so it's an ideal thing for them in that we've taken the project all over the place. And Bram and Pete come from Antwerp to Seattle. We've done quite a bit of touring over there, and so it's been an awesome cross-cultural collaboration on top of just being really, really great music.
Yeah, and the band sounds great. I had the pleasure of subbing.
Yeah, that's
Was that
right.
last year's Shot Festival, last October, when John was out
Yeah.
with Hal
Yep.
Galper? So it's just one
Yeah.
big happy family here at Origin Records.
That's right. That's right. The well
Um,
is deep.
yes, and Chad, that's the thing. You are known for the man of many projects. Um, I have a cut here queued up from what I think is probably your best record that you ever did.
Oh, yeah, that's the one with you on it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought so.
You read my mind. So so tell me a little bit about the I forget what I have queued up here, but the project with Mikal.
Oh, yeah, so Mikal is a fantastic piano player, also European. He's from Slovakia, and we had a chance to make this record in 2010, 2011. Um, and I was just super to be able to play with him. We put an awesome band together. Dave Capteen, Mark Taylor, Matt Jorgensen.
Yeah, it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but both, so you have these two projects, one with Brahm, one with McCullough,
Yeah.
but these are both guys you hooked up when you were in Banff, right?
Yeah, at the Creative Music Workshop up there.
Yeah.
At the Banff Center.
Cool.
And
All right.
also the other project that I play with is that Tunnel 6 project, which also came out of that workshop.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear a track here from the band with Chad McCullough and Mikhail Vanacek. Take a listen. right, that was a cut entitled Where the Sky Cries from Chad McCullough and Mikhail Vanocek. The album, kind of by the same name, entitled The Sky Cries, released in 2010 on Origin Records. Once again, Chad McCullough is on the other line with us here on Origin Records Online Radio. So, Chad,
yes,
tell us about your new project, the Spin Quartet.
Oh yeah, it's a chordless modern jazz group with Geof Bradfield and Clark Sommers and Kobe Watkins, and I've worked with the three of those guys in various formations, and they've worked together in various formations for the last 10 years. So it was really a wonderful thing that we were able to put together in the last year and a half.
Yeah, you guys have done a couple tours, right? Coming through town.
Yeah, a couple different things, and we just did our recording, and of course, the lesson from the recording session is to back up all of your digital files.
Yeah, I was talking to Tom Marriott last night, and he kind of gave me the lowdown on what happened with that. But you have some, right? Well, I guess you'll have to go back and redo part of it.
I have some, and then actually we just sent the hard drive off to one of those superhuman places where they have the guys from the last scene of E.T.
Right.
That are in their clean room, and so we were able to recover the data. But
oh, cool!
Back everything up.
Yeah, that's the day. That's the day. The perils of recording digitally, I guess, is that it does happen from time to time.
But the mixing is going well. I've got a great mixing engineer, Brian Schwab, who's also a fantastic trumpet player in Seattle, or in Chicago, and he's just really dug into the project and is doing great work, and it's really shaping up. So I'm excited for it to be.
I think it's with all of us now. I mean, here going on 16 years of Origin Records, and I can't remember how long it's. You came in. You've been here at least 10 years, right?
7 years. 7. Yeah, it feels like
I know.
10.
It always feels like a lifetime, but. It's like I know we kind of first played together when you were still in college in Idaho, and then you kind of came on board, and I think a lot of the circle of Origin artists, especially this pocket of artists from Chicago. But now for instance, Geof Bradfield, who's has a number of records out on Origin, great tenor saxophone player. But you knew him through when you were in college, correct, in Eastern Washington?
Yep. Yeah. His wife was an art history professor at the neighboring college, and he was around, and we played in several different groups. Some of them were really fun, and some of them were highly embarrassing. But he was a great teacher. He was a wonderful, and he still is.
Yeah. Well, and then so he relocated. You relocated to Seattle. He relocated to Chicago, and then everyone kind of hooks up back. And he's been at the Ballard Festival a number of times, and has a number of great records. And then, through that, Clark Sommers is coming to the fold, and Dana Hall and Kobe Watkins and all those guys. So I think it's kind of, I think this whole, now there's just such a creative pool of musicians, all kind of, that we all know each other and are good friends, but also all recording music for the label and all working together. So. Yeah,
and I think that's the cool thing, is that it's, it's not 6 degrees of separation in the music world. It's really like 2 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
So everybody is busy and creative, and we all know each other, and then it becomes this guy can help Hugh with this, and this guy can, you should talk to these guys about that, and it's always that cool thing of the circles expanding.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna play some more music now. So pulling from guys in the Spin Quartet, so I'm going to play a couple records which we're catching up on the backlog of Origin releases since we last did the podcast. So, but I'm going to play a record here, a tune from Clark Sommers' record, which is called Bash, right, which I first heard sit at your house in Seattle when he was in town, having just mixed it. So I'm going to play what I think is this tune called Garrison, which is the first tune off the Clark Sommers record, which I think is probably the coolest first minute of recorded music in 2013. So we're going to play a track from Clark Sommers, and then after that we're going to play a track from Geof Bradfield. So here we go. couple tracks that we just listened to there from members of the Spin Quartet, but they're separate records on Origin. We heard a cut from saxophonist Geof Bradfield entitled Randy Weston from his most recent release on Origin Records entitled Melba, with an exclamation point. Before that, we heard, I'm the perfect host because we heard two songs dedicated to legendary musicians. We opened up with Clark Sommers' tune Garrison from his recording Bash on Origin Records. Both those titles out in 2003. Both those titles by members associated with trumpeter Chad McCullough, who we are now talking to on the interwebs. So Chad, you mentioned while we were playing those records that you heard the Bash group live in Chicago.
Yeah, just recently, last week, and man, it was incredible. Those three guys together are just, it's really something else.
Yeah, so how's it been? Has the Spin Quartet played in Chicago since you've been back? Or have you worked with Bradfield?
Not since I've been out there, because Kobe is now living in North Carolina.
Right.
And so we haven't, but as soon as the mixing debacle is resolved, we'll have some stuff, and there's actually quite a bit of stuff on the horizon, so stay tuned as it gets solidified.
Yeah, that's cool. And plus, I mean, all those guys are traveling, you're traveling, everyone's traveling, so
yeah,
so
Geof
all be in the same
in
town.
China right now.
Where? Bradfield?
Geof's in China, yeah, and cool. I go to Russia, and then Clark, of course, as soon as I think the next year, he's got, he's hard to get a hold of. He's in
with Kurt Allen.
Kurt Allen's, yeah. So.
It just proves that our Origin Records world domination is nearly complete.
Yeah, soon. All we need to do is break into the Miley Cyrus band, and I think things will really.
Well, there will be a press release issued soon, so don't give it away yet.
I wondered what those clothes were hanging in your bedroom.
Yeah, let's transition to we touched on earlier in Banff. So a couple other projects that you're involved with. One obviously the Kora band, which will be at the Earshot Jazz Festival coming up in early November. Check out the Origin Records website at originarts.com to see when the latest gigs are coming up. I will actually go right now as we're talking here and check out Chad McCullough's artist page, which has all kinds of great stuff, including your show November 6th and 7th with Bram Weiters in Russia. But the Tunnel 6 project or the Kora band, and also the Tunnel 6 project with you and another piano player, Andrew Oliver.
Yeah.
Which also came out of Banff. Same year,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Andrew and I were there in 2010 and have since done quite a bit of stuff together. Andrew's an incredible musician and an incredible composer, and he runs the Kora band, and recently got a grant from Chamber Music America to write a whole new suite of music, and so we're actually in the middle of rehearsing all of that stuff this week, and we'll go into the studio next week for the new record, which should be, I'm really excited about it. It's incredible music, and it's hard and pretty fun, so that's been a pretty awesome experience, really, playing with that band and learning that music and that tradition, and trying to figure out a way of my role as a trumpet player and coming from a jazz tradition to fit into a world music tradition without souring either one by crossing. So
I think it's a great band, and I think the tunes are great and the performances are great, but also it's one of those things where I get asked a lot, define Origin Records, and I think that there's not, the definition is just good projects, good music, good writing, good musicians.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's such a great guy, and it's cool to see players, you, Mark DeFloyer, Andrew Oliver, all those guys in different scenarios that you would normally see somebody. So we want to remind everyone, if you're in the Seattle area, November 3rd, the Kora Band performing at Cornish College of the Arts as part of the Earshot Jazz Festival. Make sure and check that out. And then is Tunnel 6 going to be on the road anytime in 2014?
Yeah, we're doing March. 2014 is on the books, and we'll be again throughout Western Canada and the Northwest U.S. And that band is, another just incredibly cool project with guys from all over the country. And
cool.
That'll be our fifth tour, I think, fifth or sixth tour with that band, and it's always exciting.
Well, cool, man. Hey, thanks for being the first interviewee here on the Origin Records online radio podcast, relaunched in 2013. I want to remind everyone...
I'm the best, right? I'm the best interview that you've had.
Yes, out of all the interviews I've done in 2013. Jim,
yeah, good.
It's great.
Who was the worst?
Well, there's a short list. We want to remind everyone, Chad McCullough records for Origin and OA2 Records. You can see that online at originarts.com. Click on artists, click on Chad McCullough under the trumpets, and you can see all of his titles on Origin and where he's performing, of which is November 3rd with the Kora Band at the Earshot Jazz Festival, and November 6th and 7th with the Chad McCullough Bram Weiters group at the International Jazz Festival in Krasnodar, Russia. Is that right? Krasnodar, Russia.
Close.
Yeah, close. So want to invite everyone to check that out, and we're going to listen to two more songs here and close out the podcast. We'll listen to the Kora Band, and after that we'll hear a track from Tunnel 6. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you, Matt. Talk to you soon.
checking out another edition of Origin Records Online Radio. A slight correction. Earlier in the episode, I said that the Clark Sommers CD and the Geof Bradfield CD were released in 2003. In fact, those were released in 2013. My mistake on that. I want to thank Chad for joining us. Again, you can see him in Seattle November 3rd at the Earshot Jazz Festival and at points beyond that. Check out originarts.com for all the latest information on our artists. We want to also remind you that these episodes are also available on YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube or you can subscribe on iTunes. Please do subscribe and get all the latest information from Origin Records. Until next time, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you soon.